here's the thing about Bruce Lee. Okay, as great as he was, unequivocally, he was untested as a martial artist. Right? He was untested and undocumented. There's only one real video on the internet that exists today that shows Bruce Lee fighting in a full contact tournament. And that was at the Long Beach International Karate Championships in 1968, where he fought one of the contestants in a full contact fight with protective gear. It was also incidentally the tournament in the video where he demonstrated the 1-inch punch. With Joe Louis as well, incidentally, the karate world champion. We should actually share this. I'll find all these clips. We'll find all these clips. We'll share them on our page so you guys can check out everything that we're speaking about.
Maybe we'll put it into an article to actually explain it all.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great idea. Now, if you watch that full contact fight, it's fascinating, right? You can see that he was a master of kinetic energy and movement and philosophy and everything he speaks about in Jeet Kune Do, and also a lot of principles from Wing Chun, Kung Fu is present. The guy never got close to Bruce Lee. Okay, he, as much as he tried all the techniques he tried, he never got close to Bruce. And Bruce was basically just moving around and picking him apart. It's a pleasure to watch. It's a marvel to watch. But you know, if you think about Bruce Lee fighting some random kind of competitor, you know, you think about something like that being over in like 9 to 10 seconds in devastating, ridiculous movie-like fashion.
But he was also an entertainer.
That wasn't the case. Yeah, 100%. Now, there's other things, right? There's obviously the legend of Bruce fighting Wong Jack Man and losing. So I did a little bit of research. There's a movie that recently came out. I don't know how recent it is, but it was called Birth of the Dragon, where they basically portray this fight where Wong Jack Man, who, this is real, by the way, he did fight Wong Jack Man, who was a young Kung Fu master who had come to America at the time. The reasons why they fought are different. Some people claim, including Bruce's wife, that it was because Bruce Lee was the first person to teach Oriental Eastern martial arts to anyone. White, black, Indian, didn't matter who they were, what your race was, where you came from, what your background was. He wanted to teach martial arts to everyone. And the powers that be in Wing Chun and Kung Fu strongly opposed that, and allegedly sent Wong Jack Man to the States to go and challenge Bruce Lee and make sure that he stopped doing this. The other story is that Bruce Lee did, this is fact, basically he was, like you say, he was a showman, and he was at a tournament one stage preaching Jeet Kune Do and the philosophy that all your limited styles are pretty much useless, and that you should buy into the philosophy that you should pull what is useful and discard what isn't, and issued a challenge to anyone in the area to come and take him on in a fight to witness how this went down. And they say that one of the guys who was there, he got really upset, went to Wong Jack Man and told him that this challenge had been issued, and that's why they fought. Whole bunch of different accounts of who won. A lot of people say that Wong Jack Man won. A lot of people say that Bruce Lee won. Some people claim it was a draw. We'll never know because it was completely undocumented. There's only eyewitness testimonies, but they're all different. But again, like there's an account of in a real fight, no holds barred, that Bruce Lee might have lost. And then there's the age-old debate of Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali, right? Who were living and competing much at the same time. Now, a lot of people, there was a big hype around because they were the two biggest martial arts stars of their time, albeit Bruce Lee as an actor and a producer and a director, but still one of the biggest burgeoning martial arts stars in the world. And of course, Muhammad Ali, who was at the time the greatest boxer that had ever lived.
You can talk about Bruce Lee all day, can't you?
Shit, you noticed? Yeah. Okay, I'll speed this up and cut it short. A lot of people said that Bruce Lee could have beaten Muhammad Ali, but there is a report from Complex magazine that one of the guys who was working with him on the films one day had basically asked him about it, and Bruce Lee actually studied Muhammad Ali. He studied his footwork. He used to set up mirrors around the room while he was watching Muhammad Ali on TV to mimic him and basically mimic his movement and fight his movement in the mirrors while he was watching him on TV. That's the length that Bruce Lee went to study Muhammad Ali. One day they asked him what would happen if he fought Muhammad Ali. And I quote, "Look at my hand," he said. "That's a little Chinese hand. He'd kill me."
I love that. That's a martial artist, dude. That's a martial artist response.
To finish off this side of the argument, what I want to put to you guys now to discuss quickly. If Bruce Lee fought Khabib, for example, what would happen? Khabib, who is 5'8" tall and weighs in 155 pounds, 70 kilograms.
You mean 200 pounds or...
Yes, correct. John Jones, 6'3", 198 centimeters, weighs in at 93 kilograms, 205 pounds. Francis Ngannou, right, weighing in at 193 centimeters, 6'3" as well, 113 kilograms, 250 pounds. Mike Tyson, 100 kilograms. Muhammad Ali, 104 kilograms. Conor McGregor, Stephen Thompson Wonderboy, a lot of people have said that if Bruce Lee trained in mixed martial arts and competed in the UFC today, he would be a world champion, no doubt, in and around his weight division. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt. I don't argue. Everyone wishes they could see it. It's the marvel that time that will stand the test of time. But is Bruce Lee the undefeatable, unhuman martial artist that popular culture makes him out to be?
No, he just isn't. And it's not a bad thing. The fact that he admits that Ali would fuck him up completely, that is a sign of a martial artist. Remember, and it's something my coach said to me when Cesar Lima out of Brighton Grand Union, one of my teammates asked him, what would you do if one of your students had to beat you? He was like, I'd be proud. The whole purpose,
it's the definition of a mentor.
The whole purpose of me coaching you is for you to beat people like me. That's the whole purpose. And when you think about the lineage of martial artists and their coaches, it's a very sort of, there's a big division, and things that have been found out to be not useful in self-defense scenarios, even techniques that Bruce Lee might have used, are completely outdated and just wouldn't work in a fight. But like you said, if Bruce Lee existed today, his attention to detail is what beats other people. Remember, small guys don't beat big guys because they just somehow beat them. They're better because they understand positions better. They understand weaknesses better. They understand how to take advantage of weaknesses. And also speed is a big thing. And Bruce Lee was fucking quick. So he would have the analytical power to understand other people's games. He just the way that he would study their video, I can see him doing that. And a lot of guys like Poirier, McGregor, all of them, a lot of the top guys will study video. And by the way, guys, video is the best way to improve. Go check out our website. We do this. It's
strictlyfighters.com, by the way, if he's going to mention it.
And in all honesty, dude, I think Bruce Lee would be a double champ, like McGregor would be, because he wouldn't be happy with just beating everyone in his own weight division. He would want to go up and see how, and essentially test himself, because that was what he was all about. What could I do against someone else? Even though he knew Muhammad Ali would fuck him up, he would still train to try and beat him. That's martial artist.
I think Bruce Lee would be the Ronaldo of martial arts, purely from a discipline perspective, a work rate perspective, and the drive to be the best, and always testing himself to be the best. Top 5 heavyweights he probably doesn't beat, but I do believe he can beat a heavyweight. But people like Jones, people like Ngannou, they will maul you to death. If they just get hold of you, if you're only weighing, what you said, 63 kilograms, 64 it's difficult to get away from a guy that weighs that amount and hits like a truck, and you're stuck in a cage with him.
But this is the thing, right? Like, people, I don't think, like, you will never understand taking a shot from somebody who's way bigger than you and trying to fight them off and trying to fight off this kind of body weight and mass. if you have never been in that scenario and you've never been in that situation, and if you've never been in even sparred in mixed martial arts, and you think that I'm being very blunt, but you think that somebody like Bruce Lee could just come in and fuck somebody like John Jones up?
No.
You just don't understand. That's what I'm trying to bring to the masses here, is like, John Jones fights 3, 4, 5 times a year, trains every day, spars every day in the most real life type fighting shit that you get on this planet. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is no substitute for that. And that is why John Jones and, for example, Francis Ngannou and the top mixed martial artists in the world who compete in the top MMA promotions in the world, dude, those are the toughest, hardest men on the planet. You can have guys theoretically better martial artists, or have trained longer, or have more, you know what I mean, like have experience in 1,000 different kung fu tournaments or karate tournaments or whatever you want to speak about. You can have guys who are steroid motherfucker jacked up guys who are way bigger and way stronger, maybe aesthetically, but the point I'm trying to make is the top light heavyweight and heavyweight guys in MMA and in the UFC, those are the real life heroes of our age when it comes to martial art.